Brian Moore spent years working in road construction, knowing the risk of what could happen, but never thinking it could happen to him. 6 years after a near-death crash, he's asking drivers and construction workers to pay attention so everybody can make it home alive.
Trying to think of that guy laying there in that hospital bed and how broken up I was, and I mean, I was a mess.
May 22nd, 2012 is a day Brian Moore will never forget.
I don't know which one of this is that helicopter. This is the piece of machinery we're on.
It's the day he and 3 other construction workers were hit on Interstate 64 by a car.
There were a lot of women driving that day, and the only reason I remember that is because I could literally hear them screaming.
Brian says a man driving under the influence ripped through their work zone, driving more than 95 miles per hour. A nurse driving by stopped to help Brian.
And I'll never forget the first question I had asked her was, do you know where my foot is? So I'm laying on the fast lane of traffic. I can't find anything below my knee. And she said, Brian, it's there, you're just sitting on it.
Once the medics got to Brian, they called for a helicopter, thinking he wouldn't make it. Before the med flight took off, he wanted someone to call his wife.
One of the guys that worked with us tried and call her too before the helicopter took off, just to let her know that, you know, if I don't make it, I'm okay. I'm not in pain, and it'll be okay. I'll be here.
Brian spent 3 months in the hospital and went through more than 15 surgeries. Doctors told Brian he would never walk again.
I've always had a problem with authority, so when they say I couldn't, I just pushed really hard.
But 6 years after the accident, there is still pain for Brian. Pain of losing a friend. His co-worker Dennis Beard died on the scene.
The worst part of it for me is it's survivor's remorse. Dennis married his high school sweetheart. They had 3 children at the time. Yeah, I think they were all under the age of 13. He had a life.
Now more than ever, Brian wants drivers to slow down and pay attention.
Drive like that's your kid, or drive like that's your brother, drive it's like your wife out there, your husband out there. You know, my wife wants me to come back home at the end of the day.
The driver that hit Brian and his co-workers was driving under the influence of prescription drugs. He is currently serving his 9-year prison sentence. Reporting in Springfield, Emily Manley, News Channel 20.